Oh my gosh. So here's what we're doing today. It's just such a joy to see you guys and see everyone. And I think Jody's sneaking in the background. So Jody, if you're not on video, but you want to jump in and chat with us, come on and do it. You're invited. I'd love to hear your beautiful voice. I know she was a little under the weather too. So
She
this is
was, yes.
casual space, this casual. So I'm going to put together this part two of the podcast. And so I kind of told my story, but that was before I flew down and got to meet you guys and have the experience we all shared. So now that we've had this experience, what I want to do is share with all the listeners what it was like, what we did, how much fun we had, how we got here. So there's no formula here or agenda. Anyone who wants to chat, I should preference, we did a lovely episode with Niko kind of talking about the scholarships. We got that all out of the way and we've already done the highlights and the history on that. We can always mention it and talk it through. But today, because you guys are our special guests, we're so thrilled to just kind of walk through the stories and the adventures and the memories and what part stood out and what part surprised you and what were you expecting that maybe blew you out of the water. So that's what we're going to do today.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Awesome. So let's talk about when you first got to camp. It was a little chaos and it was definitely very hot. Were you expecting that, you guys?
Yeah.
Excellent.
It was gonna be really hot.
Yeah, it's hot in Huntsville. If you didn't notice, and I was like, it's hot no matter what. And hi, look, we've got Tim's
Tim.
joining us.
Damn.
There's Jody.
I've got the girls too.
Hi, girls.
Hi. They're being shy. Probably the first time ever in their lives.
Right.
That's okay. Oh, it's so good to see everyone. We're just getting started. So my first question was your first impressions when you're coming to space camp. What did you guys think when you walked in? I'll start with the families. Let's start with Sarah, and then we'll go to Jody.
Probably big rocket.
Big rocket. That
Yeah,
was,
when
I was gonna
saw-
say before
when I-
we even walked in, as
Driving
we were
down the
approaching
highway.
Huntsville, the Saturn V,
Came in the room.
it was amazing.
Michael
And Michael
went
was like,
crazy.
"What?"
Yeah.
I had
like,
never
"That's cool."
seen the sides of a rocket up close. He said, and I quote, "I never understood the sheer size of a rocket until now."
Yeah. He thought he understood the scale until he saw it in person.
Yeah,
He
one
did.
of those engines is as big as we are. Just one of those engines is as big as I think all of us could fit in an engine.
Exactly. Great.
Jody, what was your impression when you arrived? First of all, were you like, it's hot?
Well, it's a different kind of hot than it is here in Arizona, I think. So yes,
Human.
it is very humid, huh, Chloe? Yeah. We were blown away by, we'd never been to Huntsville and we'd never been to the facility at all. And we were just absolutely 100% blown away. We were staying at the hotel next door and we got in the night before and all the rockets are all lit up, and we were really blown away by, and then particularly the museum and the amphitheater. Oh my gosh, the planetarium show was extraordinary. It was so well done. It just really so much about the program, but camp itself and the facility is just really amazing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. All of it. Okay, Tara and Niko and Tim, do you remember when you first stepped foot on the campus as well? Do you have any impressions that you throw it way back and remember when you first walked? Was it just like that too with the rockets that you were like, woohoo?
I remember distinctly one of the first times I went to Huntsville. I went with my mom and my grandparents when I was probably pretty young, and we were driving from Chattanooga over to Huntsville. And I remember either my mom or my grandfather was like, "All right, see if you can spot the rocket first." And I was like, "Oh, we're still so far away. How are we gonna spot the rocket? It's no way we're gonna be able to see it from here." And then it comes over the hills and the horizon, and you're just blown away. And yeah, the sheer scale just is really inspiring that we can all put our minds together and make something like that and fly it to the moon. It's just unbelievable. So
Yeah, super huge. Yes. We saw it from the plane when we took off, when we were leaving. We were like, look, you can still see the rocket from the plane. How about you, Tara and Tim?
So for me, I'm a little bit old. So I stepped on the campus of the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in May of 1987. And, you know, the Pathfinder space shuttle that is in renovation right now, that did not exist for me. The actual Pathfinder orbiter was sitting on the grass.
What?
And so we got to walk all around that. And kind of like, I was like, I can't believe I can walk around this space shuttle orbiter and get my picture taken by it. And it was amazing. And then the second part was the Saturn V that's now in the Davidson that we got to walk under.
Yep.
That also was on the grass out in the back beyond
I
all of
remember
the
that.
rockets. And so having that childlike experience, I can still go through all of my pictures of all of that I took of all of the rockets and the space shuttle on the ground. So when I went back to the campus in 2017 for the first time, 30 years later, I too was in awe of all that had occurred in Huntsville at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center with putting all the rockets in the Pathfinder up in its rightful places.
Yeah. Oh, it still gives me all the feels. I didn't remember that I had to train as a camp counselor, that we were required to go through Aviation Challenge and all of the, if anyone had any special needs, like if they were blind or deaf or had anything at all that they needed, we had to train for that for a week. And so we got to do all the things and we got assisted in all the things and we trained in all the things. And it wasn't until we all were together at the academy for the Aviation Challenge that I remembered there's the helio dunker, there's the tent, and there's the inside trainers. But a lot of new things are there too. And the Davidson Center is brand new. And yes, we missed the orbiter. I know it's in renovation, but you still saw the external tanks and you saw, where it was. We didn't get to spend a lot of time on the space campsite, but you guys got to see it at the museum afterwards. Were you guys excited, kiddos, when you saw the space stuff? What was your favorite?
What was your favorite,
What was
Chloe?
your favorite part?
Oh, my favorite part?
Yeah.
My favorite part was when we were all in the museum and we were looking at the moon rock or whatever, and then he said, basically all of humanity has just been, that's a cool rock. That was probably my favorite part of the museum.
My favorite was probably just the fact that if you just tighten some bolts and put some gas in it, it could actually fly.
And that Saturn V.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How about you girls? What was your favorite part that you saw?
I liked seeing the like the rocket in the museum, like above us. It was really big, which was cool to see.
Yeah. Braxton, anything for you?
I liked that, like,
Can you hear her?
Mm-hmm. Real
Okay.
good.
What do you like in the Space Museum?
the Mars rovers.
Oh, the Mars rovers?
Yeah.
Okay, the Mars room. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And we loved the Mars generation stuff. I keep telling him, we told Michael he has a chance at flying the whatever it is that flies to Mars. Michael, you could be that pilot since you were Top Gun. And Chloe wants to be a scientist on that trip.
Yes. Oh, how cool.
So can I say my favorite part?
Please.
I mean,
Yes.
all that stuff for sure, the massiveness of the rocket and everything and watching the kids explore everything. But I loved the whole process of Kennedy's declaration and what it took to get there. And I loved how that was so completely brought to life. And total goosebumps about being reminded that he didn't say an administration was going to the moon or that NASA was going to the moon. He said the nation was going to the moon. And if there's ever a time when we would need a rallying cry that would bring us all together, that's what Mars should be, right?
Yes.
Like it really brought an entire nation together at a really fractured time. Maybe space could be that now, huh?
Right? That's a great observation. I love that. I went through that museum so quickly that I was remembering it all. You know who we should ask? We should ask, I think, a special guest about who should go to Mars and when. Let's bring them on. I'm just wondering if we could ask maybe astronaut Chris Sembroski to join us. And hi, Chris.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to our Space Camp anniversary celebration chat.
Awesome. It's glad to be here. Thanks for letting me join a few minutes late with everybody today. It's great to see everyone. Tim, Tara, good to see you again. Niko, didn't see you yet, but glad to see you here. And everyone else.
We were
So good
just
to see you,
talking about our
Chris.
favorite parts of the weekend. We were just getting started. So we've got rockets, we've got some of the things we've seen, some of the things in the museum. We've got the Mars generation display, which was so great, which certainly Niko was familiar with because you kicked it all off, right, Niko, with the Mars generation when it filmed for Netflix. What was that like?
It was amazing. That was my when I went to my elite camp. I think I was a sophomore in high school when I went to that, 15 or 16. And I signed up for the elite camp, and I was really excited to go spend 2 weeks at space camp. And they sent us an email and said, hey, there's a movie filming. Like, sign this waiver if you're okay with being filmed for a movie. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to be in a movie about space. Like, I'm going to be in the next space camp movie. How cool is this? And so, because I always love watching the classic, 80s space camp movie. And so I was really excited, and they ended up following our team around, and it was a really fun experience to go through that and be a part of that inspiring movie. So
Like you would say, no, I cannot.
Exactly.
I can't sign the waiver. I just can't. That's right. We have more than one Netflix star here. Chris, you had the cameras follow you on your experience as well.
Right. That was the first introduction to Inspiration 4 I had. Was not Jared. It wasn't Sian. It was, hello, I'm an audio operator. Do you mind if I put a microphone on you? I'm Chris. Nice to meet you too. So,
Right? Oh my word. Well, I have an idea. I've always been thinking, I'm sure the kids would love to please weigh in. Space Camp 2 needs to be made. And our adventures this weekend, I mean, we could easily combine like our ride that gets us there and the Aviation Challenge folks that come and help us launch and get there and then recover us from sea, right? And then the Space Camp folks. But we've got to figure out like the jinx that gets us there. We got to figure out what it is that throttles us into space. The kids, not us. We're done. Like Tara, sorry, Tim, Chris. I think we're Niko and kiddos. If you got pushed into space tomorrow, you saw all the things at camp. What would you want to ride in, and where would you want to go?
We're muted, buddy. Oh, no, we're not. We're good.
I'd probably go on the Saturn 1B. It looked like real flight hardware, and I don't know where I'd go. It wasn't a moon rocket, but maybe the ISS.
Ooh, cool.
Oh, he wants to go to the space station too. Space station. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, space station. Sound. I hear you.
I'm confused.
Okay. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay. If I could fly on any of the rockets there, I could probably go on the Saturn V, and I'd go straight to the moon. I'd be like,
Straight to the
"Yep,
moon.
this is happening."
Can we, the adults, be in your mission control and help you on the ground?
Yes.
Okay, good. So there's a place for us, Tim and Tara.
I was gonna say, I'm a lunar geologist, so I'm wondering, can I like sneak into your like
Tara's got to make it to space.
backpack
Absolutely.
or like stowage
Take all the
or
help we can get on
something.
this mission.
We're getting some backstory to the movie now, Tara. Keep it up. This is good. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any moon rocks, Tara?
I do not. I do not. And I have not had the pleasure of actually going to Johnson to be able to interact with them or have anything shipped to the University of Texas at El Paso, which is where I am, to actually touch them. But I do collect sand from all over the world wherever we travel. And so I put on my sand shelf an empty jar that says South Pole Aiken Basin, so that one day it's like part of my vision board, if you will. One day I can fill it. So that's my goal.
That's awesome. Niko, you know how this works, right? We get Tara in the space kind. We get her in a space kind session, and Loretta will just make it happen that someone somewhere is going to get Tara that jar full and get her going. It's not,
Oh yeah.
it's, you have to be careful what you say because that's how it happens. Then all of a sudden it's happening and it's awesome. Oh my word. So Tim and Chris and Niko, what would we want to do on this Space Camp 2 movie mission? Where would we go? Or kids, maybe you can tell us where you think we should be.
So first, I will say I want to make a plug that we should do a parabolic flight for the movie, and maybe that's part of the MacGuffin is we go on our parabolic flight as our flight training. So that's when we go up in the plane and we climb and dive and everybody floats around. My kids did that recently; they loved it, and I think that would be like the only thing I could add to Space Camp that would be more authentic than the things that we do there. But we would go to have to divert to Kennedy Space Center for some reason for an emergency, and that's what gets us all to our launch facility. Not only would we have gotten our training then, but then we'd be ready at the launch facility to jump on board and go to space. And I'd love to go to one of the new space stations as much as I would love to go to the International Space Station and see it. I think it would be super fun to go to Axiom or to Starfish or to the Orbital Reef, like one of these new places that are being created. Because now there are going to be a number of different space stations that we could go to, and maybe like we even go to multiple of them during the movie, right? We have to like go to one and get something, and then we have to go and take it to the other space station. So all of you kids are going to have to know how to use multiple rockets and multiple space stations.
I like where this is going. I
This is
like
getting
it.
good. I like it. Yeah, I
And
can
have you
totally
been thinking
see.
about this for a long time? Like I feel like
Yeah.
this has been like
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know Tim has. We've all been dreaming about it. I think what was cool about this last weekend doing the 40th anniversary of Space Camp is that my daughter had a chance to go through camp as well, and I can totally see her being in mission control and being the only calm person in mission control. Everyone else is freaking out, and here's my daughter just giving everybody thumbs ups, and you should have heard her voice. It's so inspiring, and I imagine it might be her little sister who's 4 who's stowed away somewhere in some cargo bag that maybe dad is chasing around on the ground somewhere thinking she's hiding somewhere else, and Mrs. completely oblivious that my daughter's in mission control, my other one's up in space, and here I am looking around on a playground for like a whole week waiting for her to come back.
I could actually see that happening with your girls,
that's awesome.
actually.
That's awesome.
See, so Space Camp is this place where our imagination can thrive and be invested in, and we can all kind of see the connection between what we're doing and what we're enjoying and what could be. And that's why I think so many people, I mean, generations ago, I can't believe I'm saying generations, but right, Tara and Tim and Chris, when we went, the idea was always there and present as if this is the future. And Niko, like, this is right on the horizon. We're going to do these things. And here's the place where it starts, and you can train and you can experience and you can come together and have this mission. But now, what do you kids think? Do you feel like now that you've done Space Camp, do you think you want to do more science in school, or do you think you want to study more aviation, or do maybe some, I don't know, pilot lessons, mom and dad in the future, things like that?
Aviation.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. That was quick. Yes.
So on the drive here, I was doing because of my cancer, I missed a lot of school, so I was kind of catching up. And one of my units was space, and I got like I got to skip most of the unit because I knew so much. So I got an entire unit done in less than a day.
That's
Would
awesome.
usually take weeks.
Good job. Congrats. I'm sure your teacher was impressed.
Very much, yes.
And were you like, I also have a slideshow, photos, some memorabilia, a t-shirt.
I said, do we get extra credit for space camp?
Right?
The teacher said, just skip it.
It was
I
like
love it.
57 pages of this unit, and we got about 7 pages in, and I'm like, I kind of think he already knows
Little
this
beyond
stuff.
it,
Like,
yeah.
let's just give him the final, and we'll see how he does. And yeah, he kind of already knew it all.
Good. You can be the space camp ambassador to all the rest of the students. That's important. That'd be great.
The first night I spent here this week was Monday night, and there was no clouds in the sky, and there were so many stars. It was like being in the planetarium again. So we pulled out this app called Stargazer, and we pointed it up. First thing I see is a Ursa Major.
Very cool. Tim, did you want to jump in? You had
I was just gonna say it's so incredible because space camp sets you up to win, right? They don't give you a pretend environment to work out of. Kara was telling because she was there that weekend, her younger sister Chloe, that she knows how to fly a plane now, right? She's flown. She has problems turning, but she knows how to fly a plane now. She can fly a fighter jet, and she's completely at home with that thought that it's not a tough thing to do because she did it at space camp. She flew the fighter jet. She might not have been as good as our Top Gun here, but she actually got to fly it. And that's one of the things that always struck me about space camp is it's not pretend the way that some other camps are. It's the number of switches and the number of things that we have to do and the fidelity of all of the experience and having people in mission control and out on an EVA is just incredible. You really are ready for a space mission, I feel like, or at least feel like you're ready for a space mission when you get done with those things. Oh, now you know how it's going to be to get picked up in a boat if you have to bail out of your capsule for some reason. You're ready, right? And I understand that feeling of just being ready to go now and that confidence that space camps gives to all of us, because it's not trying to water it down. It's not trying to be a kid camp. It's space camp. It's aviation challenge. We were really doing these things. And I think that's amazing that you know it now, right? Like, you don't have to study for this test. You've lived this test. So you've got it down.
Yeah, and it's not just a simulation anymore. Like, I feel when Tim, when you and I were, counselors at camp, 20 years ago, I mean, it felt like that, okay, we're simulating what astronauts might be doing, and you guys might have a chance to work around rockets or near the astronauts, but never before did we really ever really think till maybe, a year or so ago that, oh, wait a minute, these are the astronauts. I mean, and we're not just talking about like the 1% here. Like, there's a good chance that handfuls of these kids and handfuls of these people going through space camp are going to follow through with these dreams and get up into space. It's so cool. It's so exciting. That's why it feels like space camp is so much more important than it's ever been before.
Yes. And I mean, look at us right here. The 5 of us, of the adults, have not only experienced camp, but now we're in fields that are, or have been in our field of aviation or aerospace. I mean, we're all in it and in our own unique way, which is so cool, so exciting. I mean, the kids that are here with us, joining us, I'm just so grateful that you guys are here, because now that you've had this experience, it's neat because you can go into aerospace aviation or something completely different. We're all in different types of jobs in the field, and yet we're still very much, adding to the field in our own unique ways. So it's neat to see that. And it's really encouraging. And, now that we've got generations of graduates going through space camp, we're just starting to look back on that database and seeing who ended up where and how many of us went on to do these kinds of careers or be in the industry or field. And like Chris said, it wasn't just dream for many of us. It was like the path or the way to get there. And here we are. So excited. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but I mean, Niko, you're living it right now. You are in it to win it. You just got started. So what does it feel like? Are you like still slapping yourself and like, oh my word? Or were you like, Space Camp took me here and I'm totally ready?
And for those that don't know, Niko started a new job this week that he should tell us about.
Yeah, I just graduated from college in May and started up here in Seattle at Blue Origin as a test engineer. So it's been unreal week, and yeah, I mean, I don't think it's settled in really yet, but I do know that, you know, Space Camp, that was like the first time that like I always had people saying, "Oh, you can do anything you want," but that was like the first time I went to a camp, and every single person I talked to and had interactions with was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna go to the moon. Like you're gonna change the world. You're gonna be part of like history. You're gonna do all these amazing things." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes I can. Like I'm gonna do that. Nobody's gonna stop me." And every day since then, you know, I've been working toward that goal. So, you know, having this major first step of starting a job at an incredible company that's sending, you know, everybody to space, you know, is just an amazing feeling. And so yeah, it really shows that early inspiration when you go to camp and you have those people telling you that you can do anything is so incredibly I guess life-changing.
Yeah, congratulations. Okay, kiddos, another question to you guys. Was camp long enough? Too short? You wish it were longer? You want to go by yourself? You missed your parents? You wanted to ditch your parents? What do you think?
I definitely wished it lasted longer. I wanted some more aviation challenge.
More simulator time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't see enough of the space camp side, and we did too much of the aviation challenge, but it was fun.
We got that, right, Tara, Niko, Tim, like more space stuff.
You can always have more space. Never enough
Always.
space.
Or more.
More, longer days. The parents are like, okay.
It just means you have to go to a full week of space camp.
I think that's probably in our future.
Yep.
I would
Yeah,
like
our
to
girls
back-
are completely game for that. Totally. They want a week at space camp.
What were you gonna say, bud?
I would love to come back as a Mach too.
We would
As
love to have you. Yeah. Well, then you can help teach the other students. You would be such a great instructor.
Beat them all again, Top Gun.
Oh, you want to beat them? Did you say beat them or teach them?
Beat them.
Oh my
Again.
gosh. Okay, Maverick.
Going easy.
Mhm.
He's
We'll have to get
Maverick.
Rook to come by and
I love the
test his
competitive.
metal against you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that could work in the movie too. Part 2.
That's right.
Oh, I get it. Okay, so Jared donates some new test, something that has to take us that we all climb into to launch, and he didn't account for, you know, like that side entrance that we all sneak in, and there it goes. I love it. I do want to take a moment to talk about, and then we'll get to Tara, how gracious and how grateful and how wonderful Jared's donation is. I cannot wait, because as an alumni, to come back and see the campus growing and growing every time I'm stepping back there, it's amazing. But this takes it to a next level. Like, this is going to be such a joy to see get complete and used, so that more kids can have more experiences and we can do more. I mean, thank you so much. Chris, you knew about it for a little bit, but I know everyone got kind of surprised. We couldn't talk about it, and we finally got to reveal it over the weekend. So we're going to have a new facility where we're going to have all kinds of new equipment and things that we're all going to be able to enjoy. So just so grateful, so wonderful.
No, it's really exciting. I think when I found out about it last year, that, you know, this is what his plan was, and then they brought up the images of what they were envisioning for the facility. It was super exciting, and it's not just about, you know, talking about helping kids with cancer or helping a few people go to space. It's really expanding out the opportunity to everyone and all students and all kids to understand what it's like to be in a STEM field and understand that you all can experience what it's like to go through this experience, and being able to allow more kids to go through it. You don't have the same weather dependency like you do right now. You can do more things inside this large facility. You're going to see a lot of different things improve. I know that it really felt, as a counselor going through space camp, training the students through mission control and through their simulated missions, that okay, it's the year 2000 and we're talking space shuttle, which is 1970s technology still. This is going to be a huge upgrade and an incredible opportunity to really infuse all kinds of neat and new technology and platforms. It's just it's that huge boost. It's what's incredible for me is you go from a camp that's beloved by all but teetering on the brink of closing and bankruptcy to a public GoFundMe campaign essentially that saves it from utter and devastation and shutting the doors forever, to they're in the process of completing not just this one building that is going in right now with the facade that looks like a 3D printed moon lunar surface, is that now you have another facility that's going to not just sustain what they've been doing, but expand the education and allow them to do so much more and for so many more kids. And it's really exciting. It's an incredible opportunity. And Jared and Monica, you got to give her as much credit as Jared, but it's a really special thing that they're doing.
Yeah, I can't wait. So do we all get to go back?
I sure hope so. I mean, I hope so. I as far as I know, this isn't a secret, but I got to go visit my spacesuit. It's supposed to show up there someday too. So I got to go visit that at camp. So any other excuse to come down and visit, I'm game. So I got the spacesuit to come back and visit. That's going to be there at the Space and Rocket Center, and then we're going to see this new Inspiration 4 training facility go in.
When can I buy a replica Chris Sembroski spacesuit at the Space Camp store? Because that's the one that I'm missing in my collection.
Right. We'll talk to Mac about that one, right? So.
Tara, did you want to jump in?
Well, regarding Jared's donation, what an amazing announcement to be a part of and to be actually on the mission floor when that happened. And I had this beautiful moment, beautiful moments throughout the weekend where, so for those of you who don't know, I had the honor of being selected as the first child trainee to grow up to actually lead the Space Camp operations team as its vice president. And so for that 13 months, it was just an amazing opportunity to interact with all of the men and women, all of the frontline staff and junior and mid-level leadership teams that are the heartbeat and the thump of all that we do at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, whether on the campsite or the museum side. So all that we get to experience in a magical weekend like we just had is because of all the crew trainers, all of the leadership team members, all of the museum guides, all of our docents who make that experience so beautiful and amazing. After the announcement was made, so many of my former colleagues and my team members who remain came up and hugged me and said, this is the building that we envisioned together when I was there. So it was this beautiful private moment of knowing that, as a leader, you want to think you still have a legacy even as you move on and go off and do other things. And it was really such a beautiful gift to know that idea of a skills training center where we could upgrade our facility, and we had no idea how we were going to pay for it then. Now, fast forward several years, and then there's Jared, an inspiration for to make that happen, and to know that you can put things out into the universe, and the universe, Tim Bailey, will absolutely conspire to give you exactly what you're asking for. And it was a beautiful thing to experience with all of my colleagues, all of my team members, but most importantly, just all of my family and friends that make up my home, which is Space Camp in the U.S. Space and Rocket Center.
Oh, Tara, congratulations. And Niko, see what you do. You pick these weekends and then big things happen in the back. When's the next mission so we can get ready? We have several, right? Do we have some more families that'll be coming through this year? Or are we getting prepped for the next years?
This year we're done, but we're definitely starting to get prepped for next year, and we're excited to do more space camp, and we're ever expanding and ever creating more partnerships and trying to grow Cosmic Odyssey as much as possible to reach more kids and more families and just make it as accessible to as many different types of people as possible. So I'm so excited to see where we end up next year. It's going to be beautiful. So
I want to talk really quick before we go back to the kids about this legacy that Tara's talking about. Niko, you and I and Tim and Chris, it's almost like we've all had this privilege of having the space camp experience. And I call it a privilege because I know it can't, I mean, I wish everyone can go, right? We really try to make it. And Niko's done this wonderful scholarship, and there's other scholarships available and programs, and it's family friendly and even adult friendly. But as a kid, it really is a privilege. And when you get to go, there's something about the experience that makes you want to share it. And here we are, 10 years later, 5 years later, some of us 20, 30 years later, and we're sharing it, and we're putting it forward, and I cannot stop talking about it. I cannot stop being an ambassador. I can't believe that everything for me started at space camp, and for so many. So it just seems inherent that you go back and then you continue it in some way, shape, or form, whether you go back as an alumni, or you promote it, or you talk about it, or you share it, or you work with it, or you volunteer. So now back to the kiddos. I really meant it when I said, well, we know that the boys are going back, the girls are got to go back because everyone has to see the space side. But there's something about the serviceness of it, in service of others, that brings you together. And what do you guys think it is? And I want to ask all of you, is it the mission? Is it coming together to accomplish a mission? Is it the food? Is it the food that's so good? Look at you guys. Well, don't stretch it, Beth. Okay, what is it that makes you just go off into the world, do these big, bold things, go into space and Zero-G and being a lunar geologist and Niko working at, Blue Origin, but then we give it back? What do you think it is? Because it really is inherently at camp where you learn that. Anyone jump in?
Hey, it's that moment where you feel like you can see yourself there. It takes everything that maybe you've drawn or seen on TV, and now you can look and see yourself doing that. You got a new group of strangers who are becoming your friends, they're becoming your team, they're becoming your crew, and you're sitting there in mission control. And if you're so used to screens, you're looking up at screens, seeing my team, your team is there, and then they are seeing you. And I think you really get that sense that invisible barrier, that wall between you and these incredible opportunities of going to space and these astronauts is just a facade, and it really gives you that confidence that you could do that. And you've got a whole bunch of people here next to you that are feeling the same way, that encourage you and just expands that feeling more and more. And I feel the same way with the counselors too, like the rest of us that work there. Oh my gosh, we did incredible things together and felt like we would do incredible things throughout our lives and help each other out no matter what.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, that team that you start out, like you said, strangers, and by the end of the week they're your best friends, and if not even your family. And that is one of the things that makes me so excited to go back every time, is going with the scholarship, going and meeting a whole new group of families. And you're introducing yourself, and you're trying to learn everybody's names, and then by the end of the week you know so much about everybody. And I think that first time you go to camp as a kid, you realize, oh wow, I'm part of this family with thousands of graduates before me, and everybody's so accepting and encouraging that you just want to continue from there and bring as many people into that family as you can too. And I think that's something so beautiful that space camp does. It really brings people together and makes a space family. So
I'll say mine was a little different because I had always wanted to go to space camp, but I couldn't afford it. And my scout troop we lived in Georgia, and we were able to just drive over to Huntsville and do a little weekend program. It was an official space camp. It wasn't an aviation challenge like what we did. We didn't get wings or a certificate. So it wasn't the same. And so when I was in college and I had the opportunity to go and work at space camp, that was like my vindication. I can make it work. I can now help somebody else that might not be able to have this experience, have this amazing opportunity. Or the kids that are lucky enough to be able to go, I want this to be the opportunity of their lifetime, because I knew how much it would mean to me to go to space camp. And so I wanted to pass that on to them and make sure that whatever the experience was, even if they didn't think they liked space when they came in, or they didn't think they liked it that much, that I wanted to make sure that they really had an amazing opportunity to discover themselves and see what teamwork could do, what they were capable of, and give them that opportunity to see themselves in a larger context. And I think that's what Space Camp does for me, is it empowers people to see themselves as more than what they might have seen themselves as before, right? You're not just who you were, you're these other things now as well. You've shown that you can fly a fighter jet. You've shown that you can, start a fire or build out a fire lay, right? You've shown that you can do these things that maybe you had never even attempted before or thought to attempt. And that's the power that Space Camp, I think, has for people to generate that excitement of, if I could do this, what else could I do with my life? And how do I get other people to understand that their life is a little bit bigger? Maybe their capability is a little bit bigger, right? Their cup's a little larger than what they thought that it was. Let's try and figure that out.
So
Tim,
parents
Tim.
and go ahead, Niko.
Sorry, Tim. I was just gonna say, Kara is gonna meet a Navy fighter pilot one day and be like, "Oh, been there, done that."
Yep. Hmm. Yeah, maybe Michael or Patrick. See, they're already raising their hand. Tara and parents, would you say, from what you've witnessed, that kids are different when you drop them off at the beginning than when you pick them up at the end? They're different.
100%. And I feel like the experience from a parent watching it made me realize this isn't just an interest. This can actually be a life. And I think that was huge. And to be around all of you and all the alumni who you're living this life. It's not just something that we have to sit back and watch documentaries on. Michael can go live this life. Patrick can go live this life. You guys are living the life, and it's amazing.
Yeah. The kids' transformation as a camp counselor or crew trainer or whatever we use the term now. I had to catch myself over the weekend saying that. I'll never forget how exhausted we are at the end of the mission. You're exhausted. But then you see the kids reunite with their parents and they're like, blah, 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 guess what I did? Oh my God. Blah, 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 and they just can't stop and their energy's out the roof, right? Or you see what we saw. Oh my word, Chris, it was just so kind of you to give out our awards on stage at the end of our weekend. And to get the Right Stuff Award and our pilot award, who was that little girl? Did she even know she got an award? Because she was just she was so stunned. She was so adorable, and she probably totally deserved it because she owned that stage. But she was also like, "What's going on here? I'm getting recognized." I was crying. Who else was crying?
Well, it's so fun to see them. Like, I feel like people put that on their resume. Like, I won the Right Stuff Award at Space Camp, right? So crazy. It's amazing. But it's such a milestone and an impact. They remember it forever. Such an incredible thing.
Yeah, congratulations. I think she was, Niko, I think on the Space Camp side, she couldn't have been, 7, 8, 9? Was she 7? Wow. Well, you can have the right stuff at 7. You can have it anytime, right, guys?
So remember that, Michael, when you do your first resume, when you're looking for a job and you're writing out all your list of accomplishments, make sure you put that you were the top gun at Aviation Challenge on that list of accomplishments, along with whatever college degrees you get. This is one of those.
Yeah, don't worry about it. He's told everyone.
Oh, no.
Oh my
Might
God.
have a tattoo by then. Top Gun.
So Beth, can I say that, as a VP of Space Camp, one of my favorite things to do was I would almost always be there for all of the day of Sunday check-in during the summer, which is when parents are dropping off their kids for a week-long camp. And I'd walk the incoming line just to help reassure parents as they were dropping off their kids, mostly for the first time in their lives, and talk to them about how awesome of a week they're going to have. And then I'd get to see the same parents at graduation. And every single week, I would have to entertain this beautiful moment with parents to say, where is Tracy and what did you do with her? Where is Michael and what did you do with him? Because there was just such this magical and really inspirational transformation of these kids in 1 week's time. Their confidence changes, their enthusiasm changes. And I think it goes back to the previous question you asked, which is, we all travel to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center and experience Space Camp, Aviation Challenge, Robotics Camp, U.S. Cyber Camp, and we're around people who share the excitement and enthusiasm and passion like we do in ways that we don't often find in our hometowns. In Fitchburg, Massachusetts, I grew up as the only kid who wanted to go off and go to the Air Force Academy and be an astronaut and be a pilot. I wasn't surrounded by that excitement and enthusiasm and passion the way that you get immersed with the people that you go through the week with. And that's such a beautiful gift to be able to experience.
Absolutely.
Well said. Totally true. Did anyone else feel that way too when you attended, that you were kind of in a beautiful bubble of your friends and colleagues that had the shared same experiences and joy and interest? Yeah, good. And the girls did. And, Blake too, even my son, he was kind of like, now who's going to be there? He was, he's heard mom talk about it all the time, but of course he's watched all the documentaries, so he was familiar, but none of that, you guys could have prepared him for his own experience. And that was the joy that I got. That was my privilege, my joy. I also looked over at Sarah during the planetarium, and it didn't go so well. You want to walk us through? No, motion is not your thing. We kept zooming.
No, it didn't go well for me.
He hates ledges.
She has an irrational fear of ledges.
Like,
Not heights, but like ledges.
That
And
are
then
hot.
the movement of the planets in combination with being able to tumble down. It was not my favorite part of the weekend.
No judgment. It's okay. Everyone's got their thing. For some
It was
people,
my
we
thing.
were
There are
watching.
many among us who may travel to space someday and be astronauts. They're probably
It's not me.
They're
Probably not.
staying on Earth.
she's not
Yeah.
forging towards that goal super fast.
It's like when we went to
We don't have to go into all that. Yes.
we went to a show of a famous comedian live in
Yes.
person.
And I was not.
And
good.
we were on a ledge, and she was literally like, "I can't do this.
It's
I
true.
can't."
We were very high up in an arena, and it was
Yes.
uncomfortable for
It,
her.
it's okay. I mean, my hand is still recovering from just showing Erin around on pad 39A. Like, you can look through the grate, and her grip's very strong. So
Yeah, I'll stay on Earth. They can go.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, I love it. Kids are so honest. I love it. Blake just, came alive. It was so great to see his own experience. And we all have our fears too. I looked over at one point when we were in the bubble. I love that they call it the bubble down at Aviation Challenge. And behind us, while we were focused on an activity, was a teacher's program for the weekend. And those teachers were training in the helio dunker, screaming at the top of their lungs. And really, they were probably both equal. Did you guys see this, Tim? Do you remember? They were
I
probably
didn't know this, but that's funny.
I don't remember.
they were equally scared and super excited at the same time. I heard one teacher go down the zip line, and I actually heard the words, Tim, you can validate, "I'm doing this." It was great.
Because it challenges you to do things that are outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
It challenges you to take new opportunities and try out your hand at something that maybe I can assure you that there is nowhere that there is that giant helicopter dunk tank anywhere near me that I know of, right? I've never gotten to watch people zip line down from a helicopter into a lake. I don't think Kara has ever had to go out in a raft and dunk out of the raft and then, have to climb back in the same way that we were doing during Aviation Challenge. It's always something new and something different. Hey, we're going to teach you how to start engines on a jet aircraft today. Jump in. And we just jump into it and start doing these things. And I think that's part of the magic of Space Camp, is that they don't, sure, you might be scared. You might not know how to do it. I might have crashed a plane a couple of times during the sim run, but it gives us the opportunity to try these things if that's something that we really want to do. And I think that's incredible and amazing, regardless of whether we even take the opportunity or not. At least it's presented to us during these camps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
my daughter Neela was absolutely floored by her opportunity to go on a spacewalk, and all she's doing is replacing some blocks of wood that are made to look like heat shield tiles on the space shuttle. But she took it incredibly serious, and it was a lot of fun because she got to do it not just as part of as being an astronaut, but she got to do it with her mom, and she felt like she was having an amazing impact to help her team. It was yeah, she came back completely changed and different. It was really neat to see, and it was her jam. And she got to geek out about space, and she was the one raising her hand and interrupting other people, not being a good student. But it's always like the teachers and the ones that are loud that make the worst students, but they're the most enthusiastic and the most fun campers.
oh, a father-daughter astronaut team. I see it in the future. That'll be a
I know.
first.
You think she'd be
That'll-
tired of it by now, but she was so excited. Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, let's go ahead, Tim. You've got a great question you mentioned here before we wrap up, because we've covered so much. We've talked about the donation, the families, the experiences. Nobody's talked about the food. How come we're not talking about the food? And the mission. I'm joking. Parents and kiddos, what was it like being together as a family? How did it feel? Were you glad they were there? Did you feel like it was more special? Did you see your parents in a new light?
I guess.
To me, it felt like when I was in the flight simulator and I got out, and I'm like, oh, my family's here. When I was thinking that, I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is way better than I thought it would be. This is awesome.
I think getting to watch the experience, it adds something, because you can't imagine it unless you've seen it. You just can't. So I think that was special for us.
Yeah, it was, I don't think we could have understood how much the boys got out of it and how much they enjoyed it unless we were there to see it. Their level of involvement and engagement and enthusiasm, and
knowledge.
Yeah, and what they learned throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
Just being able to see that and how much they enjoyed that.
It's a
and
lot.
took away from it was really cool.
Yeah. Jody, do you think the girls were really glad to see you guys trekking along with them and trying to solve the problems and land the planes? And mom and dad had some tough challenges too.
I don't think any of us actually landed a plane. I think maybe Michael was the only one that actually shot somebody down and landed a plane. And by the way, Michael, I have to tell you that in the hotel bar, after you got your Top Gun award, people from some of the other groups that were graduating that day were there, and they recognized us when we were on stage, and they said, tell us about that boy who got the Top Gun award. So we got to tell your whole story, and they said they were crying when you got it, because they were all so happy for you. But yeah, we loved the family time. That was extraordinary. And I also got, really how special that opportunity was when we were on graduation day and in the Space Museum, and we're all in our flight suits, right? And we're all together. So it's clear the family did it all together. And we had parents coming up to us who dropped their kids off for the week. And they were asking, what's family camp like? We just dropped our kid, but wow, we could do this too. Or we looked at the price tag of family camp. Is it actually worth it? And what we were saying was it was extraordinary. We never get to spend multiple days like that doing nothing else but being together and solving problems and hanging out together, like out of the busyness of life and everything everybody's doing and work, and just be together like that. And the teamwork was great. And I mean, we absolutely will be lifelong friends with Sarah and Andy and Michael and Patrick. I mean, we love each other. We've been texting, and like we think Michael and Chloe should go to space together. She'll be the scientist. She can be the like you can fly them, whatever they fly at that point. But we had the opportunity to hang out and do all the challenges together. The teamwork challenges, the balancing, and the little I don't know what you would call it, but the maze. And that time was really fun. You don't get to do that sort of thing with people in everyday life. And that was very special. And Niko, we missed you. We were looking forward to meeting you, and I'm sorry you were sick and you weren't with us, but you were there in spirit, and we all heard your story. And it's really great to see you on the screen today, because you make this really special opportunity available to kids from all over the country. And that's pretty neat. And families, because and that's a huge gift. The time together was a huge gift. We really enjoyed it.
It was. And being with other families who have been in similar situations, that was a very special gift. Very special.
Makes me really happy to hear.
Incredible that you gave us that opportunity.
Makes me really happy to hear. Oh, she cut out.
Oh, Jody, say it again. Jody's frozen in excitement. Gratitude.
Am I back on now?
You're back. You're back.
Okay.
In the best way. You were like, that's the best freeze I've seen in all
really?
my Zoom.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Tim. It was that bad, really? So I was just going to say that such exceptional families. Families
Absolutely.
who've overcome such challenges and obstacles and thrive out of it versus, and quite frankly, to be around a group of people so passionate about what they do. Oh my gosh, Tara, I mean, your greeting of all of us on Sunday when you were talking about space camp and your own career, and, I mean, it was like, oh my gosh. I mean, and just the world of people who profoundly love what they do and love each other. I mean, that was really special to be around. And you don't often see that in the professional world. And it's a special group of folks. And I loved the Hall of Fame. I cried walking down it in that room the first day, reading people's stories. The kids that started at space camp and became counselors and now do these extraordinary things. I mean, just really, it's Sarah and I talked a lot about this. You don't get to see people who live their lives like that and give back that way every day in life. You just don't. And it's very, very special.
It's a really quick way to make yourself feel not very accomplished.
Yes, exactly, Andy.
You read that wall and you're like, wow, these people are doing a lot with their lives.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
We need to step up some, don't we?
I know. Hold on.
Find some things to do and get busy.
You already did. You graduated from your mission challenge. You graduated from space camp. You are officially an alumni. You are among the elite, the best of the best. That's you all. That's all of you.
You all have the right stuff.
There you go.
Well said. Oh my gosh. Well, this is exactly what I was hoping to capture so that everyone listening can hear your stories, your enthusiasm, your joy. By the way, Blake asked me, he said, Mom, can we wear our flight suits home? I said, yeah, Blake, you want to? And he goes, well, will you wear it with me? Like I'll wear it if you wear it. And I'm like, I'm wearing it all the way home. That sweaty flight suit, that sweat flights, the plane, the layover, the Uber, the taxi, all the way home. And then when we got home, we called Chad and Amanda and we said, hey, can you open the garage? This was really late. We got home really late. Can you open the garage? And we stood in the driveway with our aviators on in our flight suits. And we turned the car radio up and we played we played on the phone the music to Maverick, to Top Gun theme song. And my husband and my daughter were like, whoa. And Blake's face, like you could see it around him. He was like, I did this. I own this. He cannot wait to wear that flight suit again. And he wore it through the airport like, like I did something. And then when people were looking at him, then he was kind of like, he got a little smaller and he was like, Mom, they're looking at me. I'm like, yeah, you're wearing your flight suit with pride. Did anyone else are you going to wear your flight suit again? Who's going to do it?
I wore it today. So I probably wear my Aviation Challenge flight suit today. And I was, I think, loved by my niece and nephew. It was really a special moment.
Anyone else, parents? We're gonna.
I don't think Eric wants to take it off. If he could wear it every day with his aviator glasses, he would. And he can't wait to wear it again. They all just came back from the dry cleaners, so they're now hanging in the closet.
Yeah, it's surprising how many opportunities there are to actually wear it for legitimate reasons and then not.
Well, what has to happen next, folks. Either we have to do another casual space episode in the future and talk some more, or we all have to make this movie, Space Camp 2, and go do another weekend together. Niko, can we make this happen? Let's do it.
Do both.
Yes.
Let's
Okay.
do a movie and another podcast.
And I got a little plot twist. We can have our Space Camp Robotics Camp team members and our US Cyber Camp team members, mess with whatever Jared's going to put into our training center and show their proficiency of how they can launch some trainees or do something.
Brilliant.
Just saying.
Look at Tim. He's on board. Oh my goodness gracious. Families, parents, kiddos, Chris, Tara, everyone, thank you so much. Niko, what you've done here and what Space Camp has allowed us to do and invite and bring is just pure joy. And I want everyone to know a couple of things. So I want to make sure, Niko, go ahead and give them the URL and the web address for Cosmic Odyssey. So if you're thinking about it, we can put in their applications for the next round. And then everyone else who has websites you want to share, we'll talk about US Space and Rocket Center, and we'll get all those up in the show notes. But Niko, where can we find the Cosmic Odyssey Scholarship?
Absolutely. The website is euresnight.net/scholarship. And on there, they can go and read all about why we started it and where you can apply and where you can donate, and just a lot about our previous camps and the amazing things that we're doing to spread this opportunity to have an awesome weekend at Space Camp with families. So.
Okay, great. Thank you, Niko, so much. Tim, let's give them the Zero-G if anyone wants to help support that mission or get involved or have a flight one day. Let's do that website too.
Sure, yeah, and you can go 8 years old and up. Everybody's welcome. It's go0g.com. Anybody can go on and buy a ticket, or a lot of times they'll do competitions and contests and things. And I believe that Space Kids Global is actually doing a contest in the near future to take some kids up on Zero-G.
Ooh, there's your space side. We did that. Doesn't the ticket winner of the best pilot, he gets the first application, right?
He should.
You're right. Oh my gosh. So there's camps like this, folks, all the time coming through Space Camp. Niko's organization and the Oster Hatcher and Cosmic Odyssey is just one of many. So Tara, I'm putting you on the spot, but do you recall, is it the US Space and Rocket Center.org?
If you go to spacecamp.com,
There it
it'll
is.
have a whole ability to access all of the programming that exists, both family camps, traditional summer camp, and even adult camp, which is pretty amazing. So whole suite that we can offer to folks, whether they want to come as individuals, as adults, or as families.
Wonderful. Did I miss anything, anyone? Any last words?
Space Camp is wicked awesome.
What we need is the kids need to be the instructors for us, because I mean, Aaron, Chris, Aaron, you guys got to do it. I mean, seeing Aaron do it was just so much fun. Chad hasn't done it. I think Michael, Patrick, the girls, I think they would be perfectly qualified to help us through an adult weekend space camp experience. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I
I'm
think if they had a
immediately
little bit more
saying sure.
wine with the parent-child program, I think Aaron would be on board. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm immediately saying I would love to do that.
Kids, you would love to tell the parents what to do, what buttons to push, and watch us go down in flames as we try to land a plane. I don't know. I think we got some pretty accomplished folks here. So, okay, it's a deal. All right. Thank you so much. It was so good to see everyone. I can't wait to do this again, either in person or here on the Casual Space Podcast or back at Space Camp. So, everyone stay safe, stay kind, and we'll see you again. Take care. Have a great summer.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Appreciate it.
So
Thanks a
great
lot.
to
Thanks,
see you all.
Beth.